The biggest mistake I see leaders make right now is blaming AI for something AI didn't do. AI isn't killing jobs, it's exposing fake leaders. And after 20 years managing multi-million-dollar engineering assets in aerospace and oil and gas, I've watched this exact moment happen before during every major shift. The people who get replaced were never actually leading, they were just occupying a title. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. For the last decade, a lot of people climbed the ladder not because they built anything, not because they made hard calls, not because they took responsibility when things went wrong. They climbed because they were the loudest person in the room, or the most political, or simply outlasted everyone else. That worked, for a while, because the systems around them were slow enough and complicated enough that nobody could tell the difference between real leadership and a good performance of leadership. AI just removed the cover. When a machine can produce the report, run the analysis, draft the plan, and answer the question faster and more accurately than the manager who used to gatekeep that information, the only thing left that matters is judgment, character, the ability to make a decision when the data is incomplete and people are scared. That's not something you can fake anymore. That was always the real job. Most people were just never asked to prove it. I spent 15 years watching brilliant engineers get passed over for leadership, not because they weren't smart enough, because they thought being right was enough. Being right doesn't move a team. Being right doesn't build trust. Being right without character, without courage, without the willingness to say, "I don't know, let's figure it out together." That's not leadership. That's just correctness. And correctness is exactly what AI does better than any of us now. So if your value has only ever been, "I have the answer," I understand why this season feels terrifying. But if your value has been, "I can be trusted when things are uncertain," this is the best time in a generation to lead. Scripture backs this up more directly than people expect. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Leadership was never about having every answer locked down. It was about walking faithfully when you don't. AI doesn't threaten that. AI can't replicate a leader who walks by faith and leads with integrity when nobody's watching. If this is hitting home, comment the word "lead" below right now, and I'll DM you the full framework I use to help engineers and executives make this exact transition, from technical expert to trusted leader. Make sure you're following first, or my DM won't go through. Let's get practical, because I don't want to leave you with just a feeling. I want to leave you with a decision. Here's what fake leadership looked like before AI. Control information, delay decisions to look thoughtful, take credit when it works, spread blame when it doesn't. That playbook is dead. It's dead because AI now makes information instant, decisions transparent, and outcomes traceable. There's nowhere left to hide. Here's what real leadership looks like now, and honestly, it's what it always should have been. Tell your team the truth even when it costs you something. Make the call and own it publicly, win or lose. Use AI as a tool your team trusts you to wield wisely, not a threat you're hiding from. Nobody follows you because your math is perfect. They follow you because they trust you. I've seen this play out across 4 different industries: aerospace, oil and gas, HVAC, construction, and the pattern is identical every single time a major shift hits. The engineers and leaders who survive weren't the smartest ones in the room. They were the ones who adapted fastest and who had built enough trust beforehand that people followed them into the unknown. This is where faith and leadership actually converge, and I don't think that's an accident. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault." Wisdom was never meant to come from having every fact memorized. It comes from a posture, humility, dependence, the willingness to ask instead of pretend. That posture is exactly what makes a leader irreplaceable in an AI-driven world, and exactly what Scripture has been describing as good leadership for thousands of years before AI existed. So here's the reframe I want you to sit with. AI is not going to take your job, but the version of you that was only performing leadership, that version doesn't survive this. The version of you that leads with character, that tells the truth, that makes decisions under pressure, and takes responsibility for the outcome, that version has never been more valuable than it is right now. Don't panic about AI. Examine your leadership. That's the actual assignment in front of you this year. Comment "lead" right now and follow so I can send you that framework. And if you know a leader who needs to hear this, send them this video today. I'm Eric Donaldson. Follow me for global trade, leadership, and building a legacy.